So one of the reasons I became a writer is because of 2 books by Dagoberto Gil. What Cuts of Women and Gritos. And it was more than the rhapsody of his prose, or the wit and the irony, and the intellect that is just abounds in both those books. It's about place. And for me, the place is really personal, because a lot of the stories and a lot of the essays in those books are from the same neighborhood where I grew up. I went to the high school where Dagoberto lived behind when he was writing those books and where those stories take place. So for me, reading those books, I always go back and think to myself, if a carpenter can write these great books, then why not a mechanic, which I did for the past 16 years. So this short story is called Juan Looking Good. Juan puts on his new shiny shoes. He likes them. And when he stands, his pant legs cover the thin laces and around the heel. The pants aren't baggy or tight, not jeans. They are dark gray slacks, sharp and straight. Juan's ma ironed his shirt, starched the collar and long sleeves. It smells like lemons. Juan's tucked in, first time since he was a kid making communion. His ma bought the clothes on her credit card and paid for his haircut. Still close on the sides, but longer on top. Juan's tío, Richard, who works for the city and is the kind of Mexican who thinks he isn't, sprung for the lawyer. Juan checks himself in the mirror. Didn't know how good looking good would feel. His ma is worried what the judge will do and decides she'll skip court. Juan ties his tie as she tells him this, knots it to the end hangs just above his belt buckle, and then waits outside for Richard to pick him up. It's too hot for a jacket, but Juan wishes it wasn't. Wishes his ma would have gotten him the blue blazer with silver buttons. Juan's put his poor ma through enough. Everyone agrees, but maybe one more thing wouldn't have been too much to ask. At the courthouse, the lawyer instructs Juan to plead guilty. If he does, things won't turn out so bad. Richard tells Juan not to be stupid and sign the lawyer's papers. But Juan feels stupid after signing, after landing probation and a fine he can't imagine paying, a dirty record to follow him around. The judge explains how lucky Juan is to have one more chance. Juan's not sure where all his other chances have gone, and on the way home, his arm breezing outside the window of Richard's truck, he thinks maybe chances are like everything else. That some people get a lot, and some don't. Thinking there's a reason to celebrate, Juan's ma throws a carne asada. His tíos and tías, all his primos, come to the house, even his nana in her wheelchair. Juan's friends show too. His boys slap him on the hand and back. The girls give hugs and tell him how fine he's looking. But Juan's friends want to leave after eating, after taking all the dirty looks his family had for them. They tell Juan to change out of the white boy clothes, that it's time to really party. I'm gonna stay in tonight, Juan says, while looking down at his shoes. The square toes are as black as the mountains get at night, and look just as good with the stars coming out. The party ends, and everyone heads home. Before leaving, Richard reminds Juan that he's done bailing him out. And his nana says to take care of his ma because she's looking way too skinny. Later, with his ma asleep, Juan locks the doors and goes to his room. He checks himself in the mirror one more time, thinks about changing for sleep, but decides to wear his new clothes just a little longer. The phone rings, but he doesn't answer. Juan opens a window and lies down, closes his eyes, and kicks off his shoes. The night air is cool and smells like greasy charcoal burning out. A train thunders behind the house, like one does every night, the chugging engines and blaring horns rattling the windows against their frames. Over the years, Juan has learned to ignore the commotion, but the night feels the uproar buzzing in his ears and chest. Juan listens as the train slowly pulls away, until the noise becomes a whisper he can barely hear. Thank you.
Yeah.